Hi, my name is Jan Rivera, and I'm the owner of Siempre Nunca. We are located in Carolina, Puerto Rico. We are dedicated to make custom furniture. We usually use plywood and solid wood. The plywood we use it's Garnica Duraply. It comes in a variety of finishes with a veneer of walnut, white oak, red oak, maple. When I use a furniture and it's laminated, I usually use the poplar finish since the cost is less, so I could reduce some cost. But we still use the same panel. I use this panel because of its properties. It's a stable product, it's moisture resistant, and has a treatment for termites. When I use laminates, I use Formiga brand. In this project, I'm going to be using oyster gray. The furniture that I'm doing and presenting in this project, it's based on a mudroom with some maple wood slats. When I laminate the panels, I start with one side and I start doing initial cuts and rectifying the panel. This I do it in the sliding table. A better way for me, since when it's not laminated in both sides, it doesn't chip as much, even though I have a scoring blade on. So I don't do tear-outs with the plywood. Here you can see I'm rectifying that edge so I could later on go to my table saw and start ripping out all the pieces. After that initial cuts in my sliding table saw, I do the cuts for the remaining list I do. These are the parts that are double laminated. I'm starting to cut them, like shelves, doors, and dividing in the cabinet. You can see me here ripping the parts for the shelves. Then I swap against my sliding table and rectify it. I leave them a little bit proud so I could go after to my table saw and do the final cuts. You can see me here doing some final cuts for the dimensions. This way I keep everything consistent. I always like to double check measurements with my list I do and check how's everything going. After I identified the next cut, I start doing the cut, adjust the table saw, fence, and rip the piece. You can see here is Aurelio. It's one of our employees. He's applying contact cement so we could start gluing the other side of the shelves and pieces that have double laminate. These are the pieces after we trim them. I'm gonna start explaining Aurelio which pieces he has to do for the maple wall slat, and I'm giving him the directions how I want the maple to be ripped out and what dimensions are the final width of the slats. The red indicates what we're gonna be working on, so you can know. We start planing. We start jointing. A little bit of more jointing, and then we give a little bevel to the pieces so they don't have that razor blade sharp edge. There was a trick in this, it's not a trick, but it was like you had to do some steps before the final product in this. Panel is in red because when we fabricate, we never want the screws to be visible. So we assembled this piece without laminating that part so we could screw on. Here you can see Gregorio ripping out the pieces for the side panel that it's gonna be glued. He's carefully here managing the laminate so we don't have much waste. So that's why he stopped and did a cross cut. Here you can see he's assembling all the shelves I was telling you, and after that it's gonna start the lamination. Here you can see when he's applying contact cement to the side of the panel so we could hide all the screws and staples. Here's Gregorio trimming the piece and giving a little sand so it doesn't leave the edges proud and you don't chip it moving around. In this part, it already had been laminated and he's finessing the edge banding. This was manually. I did a little recess in the shelf so it could had a little detail in there. Here you can see Aurelio starting to do all the assembly of this cabinet bottom part. This is a side panel, finishing side panel, which you have to screw from the inside because I don't want the screws to be seen in the other side. And this is a little filler just in case that wall, which it wasn't in 90 square, so that helps us do adjustments inside. They want to see how much they have in clearance for the doors and everything with this, and how we want them to be as much as possible flush with the side panels, and this is what they're doing. This part we're going to be seeing how we assemble the top part where the slat wall is and the shelves with the bottom piece. The idea of this was the continuity that this panel was giving in the side. I made that cutout because in that way I could secure the panel from the back of the bottom cabinet and in the side with some pocket holes. Here you can see they're doing a layout on the spacing with the slats. These are solid maple. For the finish, we use Milesi LUA 433. That's our go-to when we do finishing, interior finishing. Here you can see Gregorio doing the hinges with our CNT boring hinge attachment in our drill press. We use Silesia titanium hinges. That's what our standard furniture comes with, always. After doing the template with our jig, he starts to adjust and screw on all the hinge plates and final fitting for the door. Here he's verifying if the other door is gonna have the spacing correct. This was a fun build. We enjoyed it a lot. Hope you guys enjoy it too. And thanks for watching. We're gonna keep on posting videos, what we do, and subscribe. Thanks a lot.